nice day again today. They say it's supposed to rain actually in the coming weeks. Sure doesn't look like it. That's a good thing, I guess. And what did I read today? How about this one? You know, things like drone deliveries are taking off in various places, but how about the looks of this one? What would you think if you saw this? This one says, flying milk can drones to start delivering food in Sweden. I've actually seen a cinematography drone like this before, but I guess it just never took off. It says, people in some parts of Sweden will soon receive food deliveries through flying drones that look like traditional milk cans. Residents in a region of Sweden are on the verge of experiencing a novel mode of food delivery via flying drones resembling traditional milk cans. The innovative service, called Foodora Air, is a collaborative effort among 3 Swedish entities: Tele2, a mobile connectivity firm; Foodora, a restaurant and grocery delivery company; and Arid, a drone manufacturer. Scheduled to debut in May, the service will first take flight in the municipality of Ramada, located near Stockholm. It aims to extend its reach across the nation. The process begins with customers utilizing the Foodora app to place orders from participating local businesses. Once a customer's residence, typically single-family homes rather than high-rise apartments, is confirmed suitable for drone delivery, the ordered items are packaged into cardboard containers and loaded onto Arid's NIMBY drones at their respective business locations. Kind of makes you wonder why they chose, I guess, this type of design for these drone deliveries anyways. And with this, they're emphasizing a lot on how it uses things like 5G connectivity, and it says with a flight range of 21 kilometers and a minimal carbon emission of 2 grams per kilometer, the drones offer an environmentally conscious alternative to the traditional delivery vehicles, which emit significantly higher levels of carbon dioxide, as claimed by Tele2. Trappist underscored the role of technology and connectivity in overcoming rural accessibility challenges, envisioning a future where remote areas can enjoy enhanced access to essential services and products. Would people actually allow that? For example, you get a license, you can do it yourself, or will this always be controlled by companies, for example? Would you ever want to do that? And imagine flying a drone to some supermarket, you pick it up and you fly it back to your own house. And I guess with drones, how about this one? Apparently, there was a US Reaper drone that did an emergency landing, it says here, because things like the GPS got interfered, which makes you think of things like drone delivery, whether or not all this stuff is factored in. It says, US Reaper drone in emergency landing amid Russia GPS attacks. A US military Reaper drone made an emergency landing during a flight in Polish airspace on Tuesday, according to US and Polish authorities, as spikes in GPS jamming across NATO's eastern flank deepened concerns over the airspace around the Baltic Sea. A US airborne drone made an emergency landing near the town of Mykolaiv in northwestern Poland at an unspecified time after 11 p.m. local time. The Polish General Command of the Armed Forces said in a post to social media. Warsaw's military shared an image of the MQ-9 Reaper in the post, but Polish military officials did not offer an explanation for why the drone made the emergency landing. The Pentagon confirmed on Tuesday that a remotely piloted MQ-9 used by US Air Forces in Europe had made an emergency landing at the site, adding the drone was, quote, conducting routine training operations when it lost connection with the command station, affecting their ability to operate the aircraft. So it seems like it's all about theory in terms of what happened, was it jammed and so forth, because it says the emergency landing has raised questions over whether the US military's drone activity could be linked to the jamming or spoofing of global positioning system and broader global navigation satellite system signals that has plagued Eastern Europe and the Baltic region. Interfering with these signals can confuse manned or unmanned aircraft or make their navigation systems believe they are in a different location. I know usually when you think of war and so forth, people would think of people physically taking down some kind of aircraft, shooting it down with missiles and so forth. But I guess nowadays, if more people are using things like drones, they're autonomous and all that, it's more about finding ways to, like they say, jam signals, or potentially finding ways to reprogram it to do something else, like, no, I'm not your target, over here. So I guess that's a new type of warfare too, in terms of all these high-tech gizmos and all that, huh? And I thought this was kind of interesting. I read today as I go by the area a lot, and apparently around the Stanley Park area, they say they want to cut down a lot of the trees because it's a fire hazard, and there's a lot of people who are against it. It says here, criticism mounts over plans to clear 1/3 of Stanley Park's trees. The City of Vancouver plans to cut down nearly 1/3 of the trees in Stanley Park in response to wildfire concerns, and a looper moth infestation are facing intense pushback from local residents and experts. There's just no basis in logic or science for the premise upon which this entire operation is founded, which is that there's some kind of imminent fire danger, said Michael Cadiz of nonprofit Stanley Park Preservation Society, which has created a petition opposing the plan that's collected over 15,000 signatures since February 8th. Yeah, that does sound like a lot, isn't it? 1/3 of the trees in the area. It says the Parks Board made a decision to embark on a program to cut down, by their estimate, about 160,000 trees in Stanley Park. Cadiz said their justification for that was that there was an emergency, which was an imminent fire danger, and they had no choice but to proceed without any delays, without any public consultation, without any hearings. All these young trees that they plant are going to be the same age, and they're going to take decades for those trees to mature, he said. I don't know what kind of research or experts per se came up with that, but that's, again, it sounds kind of crazy. 1/3 of the trees in the area. Fortunately, I captured a lot of aerial views and so forth. Kind of reminds me, if you guys remember way back, I went to that island and I captured a lot of it with my drone. It looks really fantastic. And the person approached me, can he use my drone footage? Because there's people who wanted to, I guess, clear cut the entire area. And he told me personally, when I said, okay, go for it, when he showed them the drone video, they were like, oh wow, like their jaws dropped, and eventually they decided not to clear cut it and so forth. So great example too. I guess people just need to see what it's like, but at the same time, people are arguing here that these trees, I guess, they're old, they're dry, so they say it's a fire hazard. So would you agree, I guess, in that sense? I don't know too much about the topic in general. It's just in my mind, that sounds like a lot. 1/3 of the trees in the whole area. All right, see you guys later.